Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're putting on our hard hats, figuratively speaking,
Definitely.
and we're diving into something really foundational for construction, the Health and Safety at Work, etc. Act 1974. Hasawa.
Yeah, Hassaw in 1974. It's basically the bedrock, isn't it?
Hmm.
And for anyone managing a site or dealing with liability, just knowing the rules isn't quite enough.
Right.
We need to get into the practical side. Understand how it actually works, how duties are divided, comprehension, evaluation. That's the aim today.
Okay, let's unpack that. So our mission really is to list out those key responsibilities, employer, employee, but maybe more importantly,
Mm-hmm.
analyze some real-world scenarios like when things go wrong, who dropped the ball, was it the system, or, an individual mistake.
Exactly. And underpinning all of this, before we even list the duties, is that crucial phrase, so far as is reasonably practicable.
Ah, yes, SFIRP, people hear it all the time.
SFARP. It's everything, really. It means employers aren't expected to create a completely zero-risk bubble, because that's impossible.
Right.
But they do have to look at the risk, look at the time, the cost, the trouble involved in fixing it, and weigh them up. If the risk is high, well, the cost to reduce it is almost always going to be seen as reasonably practicable.
So it sets a pretty high bar for the employer then. They have to be proactive, they need to show they've done their homework, their due diligence.
Absolutely. So thinking about that SFRP standard, what's the core structure they have to build? What are those 6 key duties for the employer under ASAWA?
Okay, lay them out for us.
All right, so under SFAP, number 1, provide and maintain a workplace that is, safe, without risks to health. That's the big one.
Like physical space.
Exactly. 2, provide necessary safety training. Can't just assume people know.
Mm-hmm.
3, have a written safety policy. Formalize it. 4, do those risk assessments. And they need to be dynamic, documented.
Not just once and forget it.
No way. 5, provide and maintain safe machines and equipment. Make sure it works, basically. And finally, 6, provide the necessary personal protective equipment, PPE, and importantly, free of charge.
Okay, that's a solid framework. The systems, the gear, the policies. But safety's not just down to the boss, is it? It needs everyone involved.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a two-way street. The employees, well, they have a crucial role in making that system actually function day to day.
So what are their main responsibilities? What lands squarely on the employee?
Their role really centers on cooperation and personal responsibility. So 4 key things here. 1, don't put themselves or others at risk. Their own safety, and looking out for colleagues.
Basic duty of care?
Precisely.
2.
2, they absolutely must cooperate with their employer on health and safety stuff. That's explicit in the Act. 3, use the safety equipment the employer provides and use it correctly.
Don't just leave it in the van.
Exactly. And 4, don't misuse or interfere with anything provided for safety.
Yeah.
Don't wedge open a fire door, don't take guards off machines, that kind of thing.
Okay, so if the employer builds the safety structure, the employee has to operate properly within it. Makes sense. Now, here's where it gets really interesting for me, because theory is one thing, but sites are messy, things happen. Let's get into that safety detective mode you mentioned.
Right.
Look at specific screw-ups and trace them back. Who failed which duty? And keeping SFARP in mind,
Okay, good plan. Let's start with a classic PPE failure, maybe linked to training. Imagine someone using a circular saw. No eye protection, no ear defenders.
We see that all the time. What's the risk?
Obvious ones, really. Serious eye injury from flying debris, long-term hearing damage from the noise.
Okay, so the employer had the duty to provide the glasses and ear defenders, right? Duty 6.
Correct.
And the employee had the duty to use them. Duty 3 for the employee.
Also correct.
So if the worker just decided not to wear them, maybe they were uncomfortable, is the blame, like 50-50?
Oh, see, it's rarely that simple in practice, especially legally.
Yeah.
Yes, the employee breached their duty to use the gear, but the primary liability, more often than not, still rests heavily with the employer.
Why is that? If the gear was there.
Because the employer's duty isn't just to provide the item, it's duty to provide training. And crucially, it links back to duty 1. Maintain a safe workplace and safe systems of work. That includes supervision and enforcement.
Oh, okay.
If the worker wasn't properly supervised, or if nobody ever actually checks or enforces the PPE rule, then the employer hasn't done everything reasonably practicable to prevent the risk. They've allowed a lax system. Just handing out PPE isn't enough.
So the duty to enforce is part of maintaining that safe system. That's a really key point. Okay, let's try another one. Workplace organization, you see a big stack of timber, maybe pallets, blocking a fire exit.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad one. And it's not just untidy.
Yeah.
It's a major failure of that fundamental duty one.
Sure.
Provide a safe working environment.
Right.
The risk is huge, isn't it? People can't get out in a fire.
Yeah, potentially fatal.
And it links directly back to the employer's duty to have a safety policy, which includes emergency plans and duty 4.
Uh-huh.
Conduct regular risk assessments and act on them.
So if the site manager just walks past that blocked exit every day,
They're failing. They're failing to monitor, failing to maintain the safe system. The policy document is useless if it's not actually followed on the ground. That's not reasonably practicable management.
okay. What about competency? Let's say you've got a new person, maybe young, using a table saw, high-risk machine,
Definitely high risk.
and they're on their own. No
Okay.
supervisor nearby, no clear proof they've been trained on that specific saw.
Right, that screams breach of duty 2, training, and also the supervision aspect of duty 1, ensuring safe systems.
Mm-hmm.
The employer must ensure people are competent for the task they're given, especially high-risk ones. If there's an accident, the employer can't just say, oh, we assumed they knew, or we told them to be careful.
They need proof.
They need proof.
Yeah.
Training records, competency assessments, evidence of supervision until proficiency is demonstrated. Without that documentation for high-risk kit, the employer's defense looks very weak. They failed on training, failed on supervision.
Okay. Let's circle back to that deliberate rule-breaking scenario, but make it tougher. Worker walks straight into a zone clearly marked respiratory protection required. No mask.
Right.
Now, let's say the employer has provided the masks. They're available. There's clear signage. They even did a toolbox talk on dust risks last week.
Okay, so the employer seems to have ticked several boxes. The employee is clearly failing their duty. Duty 3, use the RPE. And duty 1, don't put themselves or others at risk.
Yeah. So why isn't it just the employee's fault then? Why does the employer often still carry some liability, like you said earlier?
Because, again, it comes back to demonstrating that the entire system, including enforcement, was reasonably practicable. Was this a one-off, totally unpredictable act by this worker?
Maybe.
Or is this kind of rule-bending common on site? Does management turn a blind eye sometimes? Are there any consequences for breaking safety rules?
The enforcement culture.
Exactly. The employer's duty isn't just to provide stuff and put up signs. It's to enforce the rules through active monitoring and, if necessary, disciplinary procedures. If they can show, with records, that they have a robust system of checks, training, and enforcement, and this was an isolated incident despite their best efforts, then yeah, liability might shift significantly towards the employee.
But if it's just policy on paper...
But reality on site is different than the system is flawed, and the employer likely hasn't met the SFR standard. They haven't done everything reasonably practicable to ensure compliance.
That's such a critical insight. Enforcement isn't optional. It's part of the proof that the employer did their bit.
Okay, this leads perfectly into thinking about where duties overlap or require active teamwork. We've seen some clear employer-only system duties and clear employee actions, but safety really relies on them working together, doesn't it? Like a Venn diagram. What sits in the middle?
Cooperation. That's the absolute core of the overlap. Remember employee duty number 2. Cooperate with the employer. That's the legal mandate that bridges the gap.
It's where the employee's personal duty, taking reasonable care for themselves and others, directly interacts with and supports the employer's systems.
So what does that cooperation look like in practice? What specific actions fall into that shared space?
The most critical one, I'd say, is reporting. Reporting hazards, defects, incidents, near misses.
Right.
If an employee spots, say, a damaged scaffold tower or a grinder with a missing guard, they have a duty linked to their own safety and the safety of others to report it immediately. That report then triggers the employer's duty 5, maintain safe equipment, and duty 1, maintain safe systems. Without that employee feedback, the employer can't reasonably know about every single issue the moment it arises.
So the reporting is like the communication channel that makes the whole system work. It protects everyone.
Absolutely. If the employee doesn't report that faulty guard and someone gets hurt, well, the employee has failed in their duty of care and cooperation. It also makes it much harder for the employer to argue they maintained a safe system if known defects weren't being reported or acted upon.
Yeah, okay. Any other key cooperative elements?
Well, things like using the welfare facilities properly, canteens, toilets, rest areas. The employer provides them, the employee uses them respectfully. And following emergency procedures, fire drills, evacuations, the employer sets them up, the employee needs to know them and follow them.
Right. So just to be crystal clear on the separation. What duties remain exclusively the employer's responsibility, the things they absolutely cannot delegate?
Those are really the big picture system level things, management and infrastructure stuff. So
Yeah.
ensuring safe systems of work actually exist, are documented and reviewed,
Mm-hmm.
appointing a competent person like a health and safety officer
Yeah.
to oversee it all,
Okay.
actively informing employees about any potential hazards they might face, chemical risks, noise, dust, whatever it is, and providing those welfare facilities we mentioned. Those require management decisions, resources, authority. They define the employer side of the SFARP commitment.
Got it. That paints a really clear picture. So, wrapping this up, what's the main takeaway for listeners? We've defined the roles, talked about cooperation, looked at specific failures.
Hmm.
It seems the bottom line is that preventing accidents, building that genuine safety culture, it needs the employer to set up and maintain a really solid, documented, and enforced framework.
Yes, robust is the word.
And it needs employees to be constantly aware, using the gear, following the rules, and crucially, speaking up when they see something wrong, that cooperation piece.
Exactly. And understanding this division of responsibility is vital when things do go wrong. An investigation isn't just about finding someone to blame.
No.
It's about tracing the failure.
Hmm.
Was it the system, lack of maintenance, poor supervision, inadequate training? That points to the employer's duties. Or was it someone genuinely ignoring clear rules and safe practices despite a good system?
Mm.
That points to the employee's duties. Often, as we've seen, it's a bit of both.
Yeah. Rarely black and white. Really critical knowledge for anyone in construction management or otherwise. Okay, fascinating discussion. Now, something for you, the listener, to think about.
Mhm.
We've talked about duties. The next logical step is thinking about common causes of accidents. Things like, slips and trips from poor housekeeping, or maybe accidents from inadequate supervision or lack of specific training. There are lists of the top causes.
Yeah, the HSE publishes data on this.
So here's the thought. Considering everything we've discussed today, especially that reasonably practicable standard, how might two common causes, say poor housekeeping versus lack of training, compare? Which one might be harder for an employer to legally defend against if it leads to an accident? Where does the SFA burden fall most heavily? Something to mull over.